Good morning again. It's a spirit journey, and it's about 9:13 a.m. in the morning, June 3rd, 2019. And I wish to share this. Again, I was just making mention of the dream that I had, not the dream, the vision that I had regarding the dolls. Today's vision were the adult dolls, and it reminded me of this television program for children by teaching right and wrong. And the audio file that I just did prior to this audio, I discussed about this truck that it was a puppet show, and it was a truck. I think it was a white truck, and it had a white man and a young guy, and it was to really teach you goodness and things like that. And this was during the late 1970s or early 70s. And I commented that shouldn't they be going into those white neighborhoods that are attacking these black people and refusing them to just sit down at a coffee table at a restaurant to get a cup of coffee and being beaten. And that shouldn't this man go in those neighborhoods and teach that, or go in the government? We have all these sleaze bags living there. Well, as I started thinking of that, I got out of bed and was getting my day started. And then this thought went in my mind. I started thinking about this man. He's a black minister. He would be at least 80 years of age now. I met him maybe 15, 14 years ago, and he was 60 or in his 60s at that time. I'm pretty sure he probably retired by now. But he shared me his story. He had a radio program, and he was funny. I don't remember his name. I don't remember the church, but I attended the church, and he had a training program for the people of the inner city. Anyone, it's absolutely free, a free service he provides. They had like an annex room in a different building, I think it was. Yeah, in a different building. And he was teaching the people computers, how to operate a computer, how to navigate, just basic stuff. I think it was 2005. It could have been 2005. Yeah. And the things that I saw, now his program was a very good program. I mean, this was in a real deprived area in New York City. This was in East Harlem. Well, his church was in East Harlem, and the annex school, I think, was nearby. But it's an impoverished, that's what I meant to say. I made a mistake. I didn't mean to say deprived, but a neighborhood that was economically challenged. But I saw something that stands to my memory that's really linking all these, the dreams, the visions that I had regarding the dolls, and, teaching about right and wrong and the hypocrisy behind it. Well, in his church, now he told me his story. He was recruited to go to this school. I think he may have been, I think he was a troubled youth of his day, and he was approached by these white guys they said that they'll train him, that they'll send him to college. He's an English-speaking guy, and they sent him to Puerto Rico to go to school. I kid you not. I think it might have, I forget what his major was. I forget whether he was, it was for theology or something, but he had to learn Spanish. This guy doesn't speak a stitch of Spanish, but they sent him down there. Everything paid for. They start him up in a church back in New York. So he's bilingual now. And he would listen to radio programs in Spanish to keep his Spanish. But what I thought was really bizarre about the whole thing is that you're going to train someone and then you're not going to do a ministry to reach out to that community. In that neighborhood in East Harlem, it's a lot of people from the Spanish-speaking Caribbean world. But his church was catering to the American Black community, or I should say the Anglophone community. And early in his ministry, he said out loud about, I forget exactly how he worded it, but in short, he was saying that you're not going to attend his church and be in a living with somebody, shacking up with somebody, and then attend his church. He said no. And so after that sermon, no one came back. I kid you not. And the only people, this is going to be funny, but the only people left of that church were elderly white women, black women, excuse me, elderly black women. And I think there were one elderly man in that. And then they had like a guy who's a little younger than them, and he's crippled, and he ain't going anywhere. And that's it. His congregation now consisted of 5 adults. And then the children that attend there are the co-pastor's children, young children, who reap all the benefits because the kids are eligible for, even though they're the co-pastor's kids, they're eligible for any program that they have in that school. So it's like she's attending, the co-pastor's there, and the kids will get every benefit, financial benefit, or program that church has to offer. So it's like a money stream and benefit the people in charge there. I mean, the pastor's children were adults. It was very dysfunctional. The son, adult son, played the music. He was excellent. I've never heard playing. He played the piano. I never heard anything as good as his. It was unbelievably, he was unbelievably talented. But either way, almost getting off the subject while I'm doing this audio. Well, one of the last stays that I did there, it was in the sanctuary, and the pastor is extremely agitated. I sat in front, and those 5 adults, they sat in the back. I sat up in front, and there was an older white man and then a younger white man sitting in the same pew where I'm sitting. And the pastor is using very coarse language, angry, I don't know what. And the 2 white individuals, the 2 white males, were quiet. And I just thought that the dynamics between them, and it seemed to me that the black pastor was angry at the white man. It seemed, this is my impression, these were the people who were responsible of sending him when he was a youth to Puerto Rico to go to school and to become a pastor. He was their slave. Yes. That's an extreme term, but yeah. He was angry, I believe, that the pastor, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was just angry, like a man who's been cuckolded. He has no freedom. And he resented not being in control. And I've never seen them before at the church, those two white men. They seemed very confident and just disregarded everything what he's saying. They didn't have to say a damn thing. Not a damn thing. And this guy's carrying on, this minister. It was really amusing to witness this. I didn't understand what was going on then. But now I do. Now I understand what was going on. It was like a debt. He was in debt by these guys. That church ain't his. That church is not his. He pastors it, but he does not control it. I realize that churches that are being planted in black neighborhoods at times are planted by outsiders, and that these ministers become the puppets of those outsiders. And you have no power, no control. You don't set policy there. You just follow your master. And that's why he was angry. Yeah, it was really weird. I don't understand. And I remember the pastor saying, I don't know what my purpose here is. I don't know what my purpose in life is. And it hit me like a ton of bricks that I could see what his purpose was, but he failed to even notice. He was a goodly man. He was a good person of his day. He was a person of his day. He was a young black male in the he was a teenager in the 1960s. They sent him to Puerto Rico to get educated, to get a college degree, come back and to be a preacher. I remember the pastor telling me that in the 1960s that you had money flowing into the neighborhoods, the black communities, really set as hush-up money because of all the riots in the 1960s. And again, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. So the government knew that they had a crisis on hand. And what was done at that time was to pacify black communities and pouring money into programs. So the minister was telling me there was money flowing, and he took some. He benefited from that. He said it was all there for the taking, and he took it. And again, for the programs. He had a program, his church. And at the time I went, he had the computer, to teach computers how to operate a computer and give a certificate at the end of the program. And again, it was to build up the confidence of the people of that community. And I even took advantage of it. But they told me about it, the pastor, and I took some classes there and got a little certificate. Yeah. So you had these communities, these black communities of its day, And it's unfortunate what happened in the 1960s. A monster was created. And so now they sent white people in the black communities, sending the little puppets, the puppet dolls that I told you about, to teach you to be a good person. Remember what I said in one of the audios that I just did today? That's what that was all about. Isn't that something? Oh, so the other thing I was going to say about these churches that I realized are plants. You know what else that came to my awareness? Again, I could be wrong, but this is what just came to my awareness regarding the two white individuals, men. One was older, maybe his age or even a little older than him, and a younger guy, a little younger. I think he was still a little older than me, but he could have been around the same, you know. But either way, let me get my memory now. I'm thinking that, see, the pastor was doing his thing. He did the best he could. He did the best he could. But those men, why were these men attached to the church still? Why didn't they attend the church? Well, they're there for a reason. Money. Again, you're going to say, well, Spirit Journey, how are you going to make money? You got 5 elderly adults that attend there. Then I have a pontificin, and then you have the co-pastor and her very young children. She's a single parent also. Where are you going to get money from? But what if it's money laundering? What if money is being pumped in there like money laundering? You set up these churches, and what money you do get, you funnel it out. And these were white people. These were my impression, white people from affluent neighborhoods. Just something, their persona, how they dressed, how they spoke. These were, the older one was a man of authority. And the other one, he was like being mentored, I think, to teach him to do what the older one is doing, you know? They had a plan. It wasn't just because they love black people. Something is up. And these churches / cells, what if these churches are being set up by ABC agencies to get information, to find out about, being the eyes and ears of what's going on in there, and then you send information to the ABC agency to root out any future leaders, black leaders. Why do you think now they're pushing the homosexual agenda in the black churches now? Because they don't want any black leaders. These homosexual men are not going to want to be a hero like Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. No, they're not about that. They're about being free and just doing what their impulses tell them to do at the moment, many of them. And so you have this movement of the LGBTQ community / homosexual agenda being funneled into the black community, the black churches. So now there's no black leader. because they all want to wear dresses now, the men. This could be just another plan from these ABC agencies, like war. It's a warfare. See, some wars are silent. Not all wars use those weaponry. It can be very subtle, but the effects are strong. In the long run, has long-term effects that is very detrimental to that community that it's in. So it could be also used as a front, as a spot to spy against the people in East Harlem, to weed out any future leaders, black leaders, because I don't see any other reason for it to be there. It's not viable. And how he's able to stay afloat with only 5 adults, elderly adults. This is a poor, poor neighborhood. Poor neighborhood. But money is flowing in somehow. And then I started thinking about the neighborhood that I lived in as a child and a young adult. That is a whole slew of churches, what they call storefront churches. And you also have larger structured churches. Okay, the Pentecostal ones tend to be small, but they have a Jehovah's Witness place, which is big. And I think also Seventh-day Adventists. Those are the 2 largest churches. But all the others are very small, what they call storefront churches. Yeah, and they tend to be Pentecostal. Now, why do you have this there in the community? Well, again, you have all these churches, and you siphon out the money. You siphon out the money because black people like religion and pageantry, and they put in their little dollars, and then they take these dollars and funnel the money to some operation, some stealth activity. That's what they're for, I think. There's no transformation in these communities. In those areas where you have all those storefront churches and multiple ones on one block, on both sides of the street, and that's where much of the crime occurs. So it's nothing goodly being emitted from these churches, but it's a sign of social decay. When you see that, young people who are just starting out, you see more than one church on a block, and it's a storefront church. See that as a red flag of caution. And in fact, don't even move into that neighborhood. You get out of there quickly because it's being targeted. And a lot of these ministers are Masons. And they go against their own kind. They're not your friend, or the equivalent to Masonry. Those are fraternal and fraternal organizations. And sororities, so they're no different. But they hide around pretending to be doing good. Some of them on the surface, they do good things. Be careful why they're there. Their allegiance is to the organization. And those organizations are part of the whole secret stealth institutions that are controlling today's society. They hide out in plain sight. They monitor you to make sure that there are no more saviors for our community. And they use the money, siphon it out to maybe support their illicit activities. It could also be used, set up there to money launder their activities. You know, be aware, stay alert, because not every red apple is juicy. Some of these little red apples have razor blades in them. Throw out that apple and grow your own apples. This is just food for thought for today, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it'll add enlightenment to you on your spiritual journey. Take care. Don't forget to comment below and to share your stories about these very interesting storefront churches or institutions like this, and what you've noticed happening in these Black and Hispanic neighborhoods, especially Hispanics from the Caribbean. Notice them, and you're going to see the same thing happening. Okay? So yes, comment below, share this video with friends and family members. And those of you who like the content of my video, that you could donate to my PayPal me account. You just follow the link that's on my channel, Spirit Journey. On the banner of Spirit Journey channel, on the right-hand side, you'll see the PayPal me link. You just press it and follow the prompts, and you can donate to my channel at any amount that your heart touches you to give. I thank you in advance. Peace and love and gratitude to you. And thank you for listening to my program. Bye-bye.